Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining another Ready to Ride Pilates for Horse Rider session, where today we are going to be working on doing exercises to improve your hand control. So we're focusing on strength and stability around your shoulder blades, shoulder girdles, so that you can have nice, light, equal, symmetrical hands. You will see I've got some equipment. You do need some form of resistance band, but your pair of tights will do you absolutely fine. If you haven't got foam rollers, it doesn't matter. A couple of really nice big fat towels rolled up underneath you will also be absolutely fine. So if you need to go and get those, pause this now, go and get them, and then come back and restart. So to start off with, I would like you to think about your spinal posture. So you're drawing upwards through your spine, feeling really elasticated from bottom right up to the top of your neck. But relax your shoulders back and down and opening out through the front of your shoulders. Think about breathing into the base of your lungs. And then take your resistance band, pair of tights, whatever it is, up in front of you. Check that you've maintained that shoulder blades back and down position, so you're still open through the front of your shoulders. And check that your hands are equal in front of you, so they are approximately shoulder and elbow width apart. Then you're just going to turn both arms out and back in. And as you do this, you want to feel, or imagine rather, that you've got a £50 note stuck between your elbows and your sides. What you want to then do is keep your elbows tucked in. If you find it too hard to do both arms at the same time, you can easily just do one arm in turn. That's absolutely fine. All the time you're thinking shoulder blades back and down, open through the front of your chest. Also be useful now to start thinking about your ropes between your ribs and pelvis, because in a second we're going to move on. So what you're going to do is give yourself a little bit more of your band, check shoulder blade position, and again you're going to turn out, but this time then you're going to go up, come back down and come back in. So shoulder blades back and down, turn out, come up, come in and to the front. And the reason I say about your ropes being important is because what can happen with this is as you go up, you can start to come forwards, flaring through your ropes or bringing your tummy forwards. So if you are thinking actively about activating those ropes from ribs to pelvis, helping to keep your ropes anchored downwards, you're going to keep really neutral through your upper body and through the middle of your spine whilst you're working your shoulders. So still thinking shoulder blades back and down. Don't forget to breathe as well. Hopefully this isn't the sort of exercise that's going to make you brace too much, but still make sure you're breathing. We'll do a couple more of this one. Okay, keeping those shoulders back and down. Then I'd like you to take on that slightly shorter resistance again, keeping your hands back in that shoulder and elbow width apart position. Once again, shoulder blades back and down, and this time you're then going to take your hands forwards and back, nice and simple. And try not to stare at your hands. So if you're thinking of riding, you're looking between your horse's ears. You want to be aware of what your hands are doing without having to look down at them and tip your head forwards and then tip your weight forwards. So you want to be being able to do this, keeping your hands absolutely level. You don't technically need the resistance band, but it gives you a lot of visual feedback. What I'd also like you to do if you have got a band is to make sure you've got a little bit of tension, so you're not pulling the band right out, but giving a little bit of tension, because that will activate some of your shoulder stabilisers. So it's a really nifty little trick. A little bit of tension, a little bit of activity around those shoulders, keeping your shoulder blades back and down. We'll do a couple more. Okay, super job. Right, we are now going to go down onto your rollers or towel. So if you've got one long roller, that's absolutely fine. I have two, much easier to transport. Okay, I'm going to lie on them with my spine along the length of the rollers. If you are exceptionally tall and you're too long for the rollers when you're lying on them, just have something underneath your head that matches the height of the rollers. Okay, so I'm going to do this again with my band just because I think it adds to the feedback. You don't need to do this at all with the band if you don't want to. Okay, so we're going to start with your hands up above your shoulders, shoulder width apart. Then keeping your hands level, I'd like you to push upwards. So you're pushing up from your shoulders and then pull down from your shoulders. So you're pushing up from the shoulders, pulling down from the shoulders. And I want you to really watch what's happening with your hands. You want both arms to move at the same time and at the same speed. You want the tension on your band, if you have one, to stay the same. If you haven't got a band for this, it doesn't matter. You just need to be a little bit stricter with yourself. The elbows want to stay straight, and although the hands might be holding your band, you want them to stay soft and relaxed. So this is a very simple exercise, but it's a brilliant one for making sure that your hands can do the same thing at the same time, which, let's face it, when you're on the horse, you really want. We're going to do one more of this one. Okay, bring your arms back down. We're now going to pop off your rollers or your towel, it doesn't matter what you're using. And we're going to move on to your shoulder bridge. So no headrest for this one. If you've got osteoporosis, please do be careful. What we're going to start off with is no hands, no band at all. Just we're going to do a couple of reps of the shoulder bridge to make sure you're really confident with doing it. So find that neutral pelvis position, feet and knees hip width apart and pelvic floor onto floor 3. Then you are rolling backwards, so you imprint your spine, then you're peeling up each vertebrae one at a time, pausing at the top for a nice breath in, and then breathe out as you come back down, each vertebrae landing individually through your imprint to your starting point. And then again, roll backwards, imprint, peel up, pause at the top for that lovely big breath in, and out as you can again come back down, each vertebrae, feeling that string of pearls or bicycle chain through your imprint to finish. Okay, this is where your band comes in again. Again, you don't have to have the band if you don't want to. I just think it's really good for feedback. So what you're going to do now is once again have your hands shoulder width apart, pointing upwards, tiny bit of tension on the band like you had earlier on, and once again you're going to do your shoulder bridge. So you're going to roll back, imprint, and come back up to your bridge. Now you're going to do your hip dip, so you're dropping each side of your pelvis in turn, but you're keeping your hands absolutely still. I think this is one of the best exercises, and the following one, for having independent seat plus light hands, because the body will, your shoulders want to move, help keep you balanced whilst your pelvis is on the move. So you have to work so hard to keep your pelvis independent, your seat that is, independent from your hands. This is a brilliant exercise. So keep those hands absolutely level, keep that tension on the band absolutely the same. Okay, one more. And then you're going to come back down through your imprint position and have a little bit of a breather. Bring your arms back down, make sure they've still got some circulation. The next one is going to get a little bit harder still. So if you feel that you've had enough, have a breather for a second. We're going to just ramp up the effort a little bit more. So once again, you're going to have your hands up above your shoulders, shoulder width apart, a little bit of tension. Pelvic floor, roll your pelvis back. Okay, this time you're going to do your leg extensions. So you now, instead of keeping your pelvis on the move, you want to keep your pelvic headlights absolutely still. And keep your hands, once again, absolutely still. So your hands are above your shoulders, the tension on your band is staying the same, your headlights are staying level, so you're working on that independent seat combined with light hands. This is really hard. I'm not going to say that I'm perfect at it, and you will find, whoops, one side will be much easier than the other. Okay, and then you're going to pause, come back down through your imprint, and then bring your hands back down again. Okay, we're now going to come up into standing. We're going to do one last exercise in standing. This is a really good one, particularly if you jump, but it's great for everybody. So we're going to go onto into a one-leg squat position. So this is good for balance. If you want to do this on two-leg squat, that's absolutely fine, but one leg just challenges you a little bit more. Shoulders back and down, hands again in line with your elbows, wheelbarrow pushing position I call it. And you're going to go forwards and then arms forwards as if you're going over a fence. You are now going to try and keep your balance and move each arm out to the side in turn. But as your hands come back each time, you want to make sure, as I fall over, that they come back to their shoulder width apart position. So you're always coming back to your neutral starting point. So you are really imprinting in your brain that your hands always stay shoulder width apart. They know that this is where they belong. Okay, come back up, and I'm going to swap and do the same thing on the other leg. So get your balance, then you're going to go into your squat, forwards into your jumping position, arms, and the same thing again. Each hand in turn, always coming back to your equal level shoulder width apart position. This is not easy, so if you find one leg particularly difficult, don't worry, that's very normal. And like I said, you can do this on 2-leg squat if you want. You could do it standing up in a teeny tiny mini squat if you want. Do a couple more, always coming back to that shoulder width apart position. Super job. Okay, come back up, let your band drop onto the floor, little walk on the spot, and then just loosen off through your shoulders. Nice big circles. They're a really great little exercise for loosening off if you've got a little bit tense. And then we're going to stretch out. So one arm up and across. Give yourself a bit of a stretch around the shoulder. And we're going to do the same on the other side. We're not stretching to lengthen, remember, we're just stretching. You've got tissue that's worked quite hard. So we want to give a little bit of a stretch so it doesn't finish off too stiff. That is the end of that session. Short and sweet. You don't need to do all of these exercises all in one go. This is a really good one for coming back to pick specific exercises that you want to work on if you've got a specific problem with your hands. I hope it's been really useful. Drop any comments in the boxes below. It's always good to have some feedback. Take care, and I will see you on the next session. Bye bye.